We have a saying around here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, no brains, no headache.
Well, hello, boys.
What's up? What's up?
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
No Brains, No Headache Podcast, episode 223, coming to you live from Stadium Sports Bar in the Lodge. We got our guest here, Eric Irani. Welcome to the show. How are you, man?
I'm doing swell.
This is a long time coming, and we're happy to have you. We found out our table has a little bit of a malfunction here, so you can't win them all. But welcome to the show, everybody. I'm your host today, Jordan Weichel, as always, with my co-host, confidant, fellow comedian, longtime friend. That is Matt Cleary. I call him Ongo. He calls himself Matty Applesauce, so that is just a real doozy in itself. But here we are. We're recording.
I feel it.
Yeah.
I
I pressed record.
I see that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great. I loved when you did that.
Did you feel like a man?
Yeah. I thought I would see like a light or something, or some sort of initiation.
Dude, this is no brains, no headache.
Yeah, I ate so much soup today, and I just chugged a high noon, and I don't know if I'm going to make it through this episode.
Let's make it better soup.
I'm just going to make a big old pot of trouser chili.
Great time of the year for it. But yeah, here we are, Stadium Sports Bar, so thank you so much to them for having us, keeping us refreshed. Eric, you're in the midst of Sober October. How's it going?
It's going all right. You always start out thinking like, there's no way people can do this. Like, there's no way you can not drink. And then you just keep going and you stop fantasizing, and after a while you're all right. And you're close enough to the end where it doesn't matter.
Why would I just don't get why people do it? Like, collectively as a group, it's like, okay, 25% of my friends are going to be D-bags this month.
It's because you drink too much, and then you want to stop. I
don't know if you know this. We haven't known each other that long, so I'll give you a pass. But drinking's about the only thing I do well.
I feel like it's you have to drink up here.
Yeah,
It's like a.
So we were looking up before we started, because the thing I do is whenever I see that someone went to a high school, I always go to the Wikipedia page and look and see who went there. You went to the same high school as Bert Kreischer, and now you're doing comedy in North Dakota, so
Things are looking up.
Yeah, man. Stars are aligning. It's meant to be.
Yeah. So how'd you even get to North Dakota? Just job brought you here?
I was looking to go like as far away from Florida as possible. And I was like, all right, where does nobody go? And so I applied for places in like Romania or like Mexico City. And then I got.
Do you speak any other languages?
Yeah, a little bit of Spanish. Un poquito español. I have like a 900-day streak on Duolingo. So.
Un poco?
Un poquito.
Un poquito.
The ito means like a little.
Tengo un gato en pantalones.
All right, well, let's not get into a Spanish lesson here. Matt made our Spanish teacher cry in high school.
Okay, well, first off, I said her class was gay as shit, and I'm dropping it like it's hot, which in hindsight was really mean to say, but also such a great line.
It was very topical.
Yeah.
The class must have erupted.
Maybe Jordan, but everyone else.
I don't think I was in that class with you. I just know you made her cry.
Well, okay, so I had this hippo that was like a stress ball that I bought at the Dollar Tree, and someone took it, and I was like, where the fuck's my hippo? And she's like, don't use that language. And I was like, okay, where the frick is my hippo? Yeah, and I mean, it was all a thing. But so you just landed on North Dakota, which is...
Yeah.
I mean, you were right about where do people not go. Yeah, this isn't the number one vacay destination like Tampa or Florida.
It is if you're in witness protection.
That is true. Are you in witness protection? Do you want to just tell the world?
I mean, there's only like 14 people that listen to this anyway, so...
I can neither confirm nor deny.
I got coronated into the Gambino crime family.
Gambinus.
That's wild, though. What do you? How long have you been here?
I've been here like 6 months.
Thoughts
Got here
so
in
far?
March.
It's October now. That means you came in about April. Let's say you got the best months for weather-wise.
Yeah, I've been kind of fooled into it because I'm like, it's not bad.
For sure.
Like everybody, because when I came up here, I was like, oh, it's cold always. This is like the tundra.
Yeah.
And it's not. You have like summer.
And you're getting
I didn't.
You're getting an extended summer for sure with beautiful weather. And I don't know if you've gathered this yet, but weather, huge topic of discussion. You need to be checking the Weather Channel 6 to 7 times a day.
Everybody's got the website. They want like Wonderground or something, Weather Underground.
Okay, yeah.
Big one we use at Bobcat. Or wherever I work, maybe we should. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll just,
Whatever.
We'll not revisit that.
Yeah.
You have a pet bobcat. So
I have
we
a
just
pet Bobcat.
We're watching the Bobcats play hockey.
I don't even work for
Dude, it was the greatest thing ever. Eric's like, ooh, the Wildcats. I'm like, this isn't High School Musical.
It's just the wild.
This is a 50-50. Yeah, I got that right.
You're like 50% of it, right?
But no, like North Dakota's like America. Like you in the suburbs, nobody really does anything. Like we just all just sit around, play video games, and like I don't know. Hobby wise, it's you have to go out and pay for something, or it's all about you want to go to this city, you want to look this way, go to the club, blah blah blah. But like here, it's just like we have dirt bikes and guns, and we go outside, and you just fuck around with the water. And, everybody's got a boat. Everybody
You're getting
fishes
it.
and like
You fit right in.
Yeah, that's that's North Dakota Wikipedia's page. Like everyone has dirt bikes and boats and guns.
Yeah. Nobody pays insurance on any of it.
We very rarely shoot each other unless you're in the elbow room parking lot.
Roasted, dude.
So there was, I don't know if you were here yet, but there was a straight up shooting in the elbow room parking lot. And I was there that night. But I left early to go watch Vampire Diaries. Which I kind of wish I would have just stayed and got shot at that point.
That would have been more entertaining at least.
Wow, being gay really saved my life.
Do you know why the guy got shot? Like what was?
No, it was two. I saw the two guys arguing in the parking lot too, and they basically just like had a Mexican standoff and both just shot each other like 15 times and died.
Nice.
But then someone ran inside and like, there's a shooter in the bar. So then like,
and everyone freaked out.
yeah, and it was like it was a big deal. Like, yeah, there was like an active shooter, but like someone like came into the bar and yelled that there's a shooter in the bar, which is a lot different than there's a shooter between the 6-foot concrete wall and you.
Yeah. It's like yelling fire and there's not a fire.
Yeah.
People just panic.
I went like recently and I had heard about it, and there was some fight, like some South African dude started punching some other dude, and they like shut down the bar. It was midnight and they just decided, fight, bar's closed. I was like, what the like I figured that's normal for North Dakota. Everybody fights.
Well, that was that time we were there, and remember, like, someone got pushed onto the blackjack table, and I had that live photo, and, like, you can see in the back of a photo that someone's just getting, like, yanked off the blackjack table.
Oh, yeah, I did that street interview with people, and I'm like, can you tell us what happened? And everyone's like, fuck you. And I'm like, all right, stay tuned, follow me. And I just kept going around to people in the bar asking them what happened. And yeah, people weren't taking too kindly to
it. It was
that.
like a Roadhouse style brawl. Like there was just everyone was in on it, even if you weren't.
Yeah. Like I saw people get pushed into the guy, or like, it kind of spread, but I didn't think the reaction, it seemed like an overreaction. I was like, all right, they fought. Like, I would like to finish my beer now, but they just get out, everybody out. Why do bars close at 1 a.m. here? That's also bullshit.
Well, I think they're aware of our drinking habits, and so they're trying to just like mitigate. Well, just set it down and like scoot in a little bit, buddy.
Just lean in.
But I think the government's trying to do their best to not have us like if the bars are open till 2, like they are in most of the rest of the state,
and quite literally everywhere else.
Yeah,
it's just Bismarck.
It's just Bismarck, Mandan, basically. Like if you're in Burleigh County, you can be open till 2.
Dude.
Okay, but I'm going to say this, because you're like 24?
25.
25? I mean, I can't tell because you have a giant...
No, I just had my birthday. I was like,
big old Jew fro and a beard, so I don't know.
For those of you who had Matt saying Jew At 9 minutes and 45 seconds, you're our winner. Come collect your prize.
We did a corporate gig last night, and I said Jew towards the end of it, and it got a pretty big pop. And I was like, fuck, I cut like 95% of my set before this because it was supposed to be clean. But I completely forgot where I was going with that. Oh, yeah, okay.
Gotta find it. Give him a minute. He'll find it.
So I actually don't mind the closing at 1 a.m. thing because as you get older, it like sometimes I just want to like leave and go home.
But you can do that regardless of when they close.
Yeah, but then I feel like a dick.
So,
Or like a
I'm gonna go
pussy.
early.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna head home early.
Like, dude, they haven't kicked us out yet.
What are you talking about, Matt? You're the king of Irish goodbyes, and that's not even a ginger joke. That's just what you're good at.
Dude, I do it so often. I'm gone.
It's
like,
the perfect way. It's
the best part about an Irish goodbye is you do it when no one expects you to. Like you're at a bar watching a sporting event, and you just leave at halftime. And everyone's like, where the fuck did he go? Oh, I've been gone for 3 hours.
like the middle of happy birthday. You're out.
Yeah.
You're gone.
I'm going to head to the bathroom. It's just my car tires.
Honestly, the middle of Happy Birthday is actually a good one, Matt. You should keep that in mind because everybody's focused on the singing and the birthday person, that you're celebrating. So you could just sneak out the back and and then you have cake after, so people are still distracted a little bit. And then they're like, oh, wait, Matt's gone.
I'll say it, cake kind of sucks. Ice cream cake's good.
Ice cream cake. It depends on the cake. Depends on the context of the cake. Too much icing I think it'll ruin it. But
Yeah, I think cake's overrated.
Okay, you just
I'm a
said
salt-
cake's bad, but ice cream cake is good. Let me throw something by you. You get a slice of cake, scoop of ice cream.
that's pretty.
It's good, but
That's a good point.
I'm
It's the same thing.
You
I'm
can't-
gonna,
It's just a different shape.
I'm gonna be I'm
it-
gonna be in my camp that says you don't need dessert if you eat enough normal food.
What you have a camp?
not like
What is a
dessert?
spring training?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's my camp of people that eat the normal food.
And it's-
My
it's
people don't
just
like
you.
camps.
Yeah,
So I'm kind of already opposed.
I don't
to
know
this
if
camp.
if you're
Oh, my sweet Jesus.
I can't. You're like equivalent to like the sketch drawing in Superbad when Seth Rogen's doing a horrible job of like describing the person that robbed the store. Like, okay, we're looking for an African Jew.
How tall is he? I'll start at the bottom.
Is it like Eminem, like round, like an Eminem?
See, like me or like you? Just police officers not knowing how to ask a person if they're black or not.
The only thing that I love when they go through the video, like, yeah, you're not gonna find the guy. He's like, nah, most of these guys just get away. It's like the only thing that tape proves is you can take a punch like a champ.
That's awesome. But what do you think of the people of Bismarck in North Dakota?
I mean, it's nice. Everybody's been really nice to me. Everybody's like quiet. Things feel offbeat here, though. I don't know how to describe it. It's just like in conversation, it seems like just out of sync.
Socially autistic.
Not autistic, just like different. Same, but
I
different.
mean, you basically just described how I conversate with people. If I go into a conversation, I'm like, I'm going to have nothing in common. I'll just be like, well, it was really good to meet you. It's like, I didn't even get your name yet. That's probably for the best.
It's like just autistic enough to not register.
Yeah.
But like present. And that's the whole, but like everybody here is like, seems to be quick with stuff. You guys have like a lot of sayings like slicker than shit or like, what's the
Slicker
one?
than goose snot.
Yeah. Or like Letterbuck is fucking, that one's great.
That one's, yeah.
Going Western on shit. Like,
You ever heard keep on trucking?
I've not heard keep on
Like
trucking.
you're having a bad day and it's like, it's all right, buddy. Keep on trucking.
on trucking.
It'll get better.
Yeah, most of the time when someone says that to someone, the person they say that to kills himself.
That's usually what I say to all my ex-girlfriends at the end of our last conversation ever. It's like, if I don't see you again, which you won't, I kind of give them a little arm punch.
Or like,
Keep on trucking.
see you out there.
See you out there banging all of my friends.
What we should bring back, like for sporting events, how they had teams get in the handshake line. You just give high five and say good game. We should do that at the end of the night of drinking. So everyone's walking through good game, good game, good game, just covered in your own vomit.
Yeah, like after open mic night, have at church when you offer peace to in a Catholic church, you offer peace. We should do that, but for open mic night where we all just kind of like shake each other's hand. Oh, thank you.
Peace be with you.
And with your spirit. But Matt and I went to Catholic school. In case you haven't figured that out.
I'm not Catholic.
You went to even more Catholic.
Yeah, yours
school
is
than we
more
did.
Catholic.
Yeah.
Let's dive into that.
Yeah,
Did you have to wear uniforms?
No, we had to wear business casual. So
Whatever that means.
it was like polos. So it's like you have quarters. So
you all look like lesbians. Got it.
we all look like young gentlemen. We all look like we played golf.
Oh, okay.
Like so, it's first quarter is polos, and then second quarter is button up shirt and tie, and then it's like the 4 quarters, so half a semester, right?
Is this a football game? Or
I don't know why we did it in quarters.
And you had to wear certain clothes? What is this, like
certain clothes. So
is this like a spirit week where there's like a theme?
No, it's like spring season, right? You come in, it's still summer, so you got the polos on.
You can't be wearing pants. It's April. You don't wear white after Labor Day. We know that.
No, always pants and always leather shoes.
That's
leather shoes.
That's what I try to tell Alex for comedy. It's like, dude, quit wearing shorts on stage. It's unprofessional.
Yeah, you look like a child. You can't.
Oh, I just don't.
No,
wear
Alex
shorts.
does it. But
I just want to wear shorts. I don't want to wear shorts because I got weird legs.
You gotta let it. Well, okay, yeah. It's weird when somebody wears pants and then you finally see their legs. And even if their legs are normal, you just can't. You're like, oh, I shouldn't see you this way. This is too personal.
I just got like meaty soccer player legs that are.
Yeah,
You got good calves,
I got huge calves.
dude.
They're not good calves.
People are jealous. Like that's a thing people want is big calves.
Matt, you have great calves, dude.
Great calves. Good lesbian calves.
Yeah. And that's huge.
Like a softball coach over here. I was just gonna bring something up earlier, but I completely forgot.
No, yeah, we've got that. We understand that you've been forgetting a lot of talking points. Just let the soup digest, Matt. Enjoy your high noon.
You guys take it over for
Yeah,
a bit.
Eric and I are going to keep on trucking. Okay? We're going to truck on through this son of a gun.
He'll come back.
Did you have to go to church like every so often?
Yes.
Or celebrate mass, I guess you'd call it?
Yeah, we went to mass probably like once a month, but we had like convocation, so we'd gather in the church every day, every morning,
And just
get
kinda-
like a.
How
That's
big of an
clear.
orgy are we talking?
whole school, all the teachers,
Lights off.
the priests, of course, and then we'd have like a speaker come in and be like, "Don't jerk off." like that. We got excited when that guy was coming to town. We're like, "Dude, the jerk off dude's coming this week." And it was like, yo.
There was a guy that we had come in that was like, he would like play music to his own speeches, and everyone was like crying and stuff. And I'm like sitting in like the back of our like class row. I'm like, is this not weird? Like,
Matt's just like, I'm just glad I'm not in Spanish class.
ooh,
right now.
that's what I remembered. So it kind of has to do with this. So we had a shark costume as our school mascot.
Which didn't make any sense. We were the Saints.
Yeah.
But you weren't the Sharks.
That
we
was
were
our
the Saints.
mascot.
You were the Saints.
That was our
The mascot was a shark.
And
Did he have like a cross or anything, or just
no,
a
it was
shark?
just a run-of-the-mill shark that smelled like old cat.
Yeah.
That was mainly my doing, but I wore it for like a week of school one time. And I got a concussion. I got like just knocked unconscious snowboarding. And I remember I came to like 4 hours later and I was in school. I was wearing the shark costume again. And then kind of the rest of the day's a blur. And I don't know what I did with the shark costume. And to this day, they don't know where it is. Like, I got contacted by our old athletic director 3 years ago. And it was like, hey,
We're trying to track down Sharky.
the last time someone wore the shark costume was you. He's like, do you have any idea where it is? I'm like, honestly, I probably put it somewhere, but I just don't know where.
Yeah, it's actually the new episode of Unsolved Mysteries airing next week.
I guarantee it's probably I'm like clean out by mom's house, and it's just, why the fuck is there a shark costume down here?
Or you're doing some landscaping in your yard in the future, and you just like come across.
There's a dead body in the shark costume.
Wait, so how did you said you came to in the middle of school, so were you snowboarding before school, or is it like a
No, like
weekend
we like
up
went
in school?
to like our school went out and we were snowboarding,
Okay.
and then I hit my head on a rail, and then I got knocked out, and I like really don't remember much, but I was like going to school and we had like a pep rally, and then I like came to. And I was like, "Oh, what the fuck are we doing here?" Like,
Yeah.
Shark costume.
yeah,
So yeah. Apparently, we were snowboarding before class started.
Okay.
So
yeah, we were one of those
pretty sick.
cool. Have you ever seen Johnny Tsunami? Pretty much that high school.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah,
Johnny Tsunami. That's a hell of a name drop.
Were you happy to go to a Catholic school? Like you guys are like.
it was odd. They let us
Like,
do
was it bad?
whatever.
Like we were in an era, a generation where like there just weren't many rules. There were rules, but like you could just get away with so much because it was a smaller school, so it was pretty tight knit. And like for example, our physical education teacher and weights and conditioning teacher, same person, great guy by the way, legend. There would just be days where he's just like, we're just gonna hang out in the cafeteria today.
He's just like, yeah, me neither.
Or you could just, he'd be like, all right, we're going upstairs to play kickball or whatever. And you could just like be nice and just be like, I have some homework to get. Do you mind if I just do it? And he'd be like, oh yeah, go ahead. And it's just like, okay. Like you would take an art class. Art and gym were like the ones you really wanted to get. Matt had like 4 his senior
so
year.
I did all of my. I came out of high school with like 25 college credits.
all physical education.
Yeah, I like college
And
speech and all the gay ones, but I like I built it up so that I had my last semester. I had like one actual class. I had like gym, art, college soc, AP English, gym, art off,
You had 2 gyms, 2 arts.
and an off period.
What?
And so my afternoon, I started working at. I've been working at this golf course, and I was like, well, the shift starts at like little afternoon, and I was like, I just won't go to the afternoon classes. So I just wouldn't go to school in the afternoon.
He just Irish goodbye school.
yeah.
and they would mark me there and everything. Like I had 2 art classes. I did 1 project the entire year.
Same. Because she forced me to. It was
And
the final. I did the final.
and I traced a cartoon picture of a dolphin. And I accidentally used the wrong paint on it one of the 2 days that I was painting. So there's one side of it that's glossy, and the other side
And like
that's
one shade of turquoise blue, and then like the
it
other
was
part.
so. And like, so you'd prime a canvas, and they'd be like, "Okay, you can't do anything the rest of the day." So I would just prime it like 25 times. I was like, if there's ever a school shooter, I can use my canvas to stop them.
We got about 20 layers of primer on this.
Yeah.
She's ready to go.
What'd you tell the teacher? Like, no.
Dude, they didn't care, though. That's the thing. They
that was the
didn't
best
care.
part. My sister, awesome artist. The teacher loved my sister, so she would let me do whatever I wanted.
Don't act special, Matt. She did that for everybody.
No.
As long as you weren't a dick, you could pretty much do whatever you wanted. If you asked nicely, you could do whatever you want.
She knew. She's like, yeah, this is art class. It's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I know what I have here.
I know.
No low balls.
There's no impression that this is important to anybody. I'm not.
We were doing this skit that we were writing, and we were going through all the teachers, and it was supposed to be like, you say something mean about them, and like everyone's just like, fat piece of shit to this teacher. And it gets to the art teacher, like, Mrs. H, and you're like, I don't know, nicest lady ever. Like, can't even make fun of her. I'd feel bad too.
Yeah, it was one of those situations. But so it was like that happy medium of, yes, we're a Catholic institution, and so you have that whole rigmarole. But we were also the worst students ever. Like our drinking habits started in our teenage years.
They should.
As they should.
They should.
It's the mind develops early, and I developed quite a drink.
Yeah. Matt's mind is like booze, soup,
Yeah.
trouser chili, booze.
Is food like booze? How do we?
Food booze. You ever had rum ham? Just out here getting ripped shit on rum ham, and
That doesn't make sense.
Okay, let's go into something different.
Yeah, let's quit that. We need to close the old yearbook.
Yeah.
We go down this path way too much. I've known Matt since we were 5 years old. So
Oh wow, you
Yeah.
joined at the hip.
yeah,
Pretty much. We were born.
You can't tell.
We were born
Twins.
5 days apart.
You guys look like you're born 5 days apart.
Yeah, and
Who's
about
older?
3 weeks and about 2 months too early, right?
Who's older?
So you're giving me this look. I don't know if that's a good look or.
We're just wondering who you think is older. It's 5 fucking days. Excuse my language.
I guess Jordan.
Yeah.
Nice. Matt, why don't you head down to the bar here?
Yeah.
You're giving me this look
I-
like you're gonna
yeah.
guess
I think-
Jordan, but it's me actually.
I don't
He
think
gave it away with his eyes.
Yeah.
getting one high noon up my asshole wouldn't be that hard, but I think I could do two. So you don't like sports and you live in North Dakota. So what do you do other than work?
I mean, like I like to like sports. I just have no like. I'll download the ESPN app. It's every once in a while. You know, it's like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'll download the ESPN app.
Just the
I'll,
fact
like,
that it deletes itself
Yeah.
tells us a lot.
Well, it's like I'll get dun, 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 or what, you know, the noise.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is fucking shit, and and then immediately delete it. But like I'll look at the schedule for like the games. Be like, we're doing it this year.
I'm all in.
I'm all in. I downloaded the
Tampa
free
Bay
app.
Buccaneers.
Let's go, Bugs. And then Sunday comes around and it's like noon. I'm like,
So when Tampa Bay won
I was there.
the Super Bowl, I'm assuming you were just at a coffee shop and had no idea a parade was going on.
I was downtown Tampa getting hammered off picklebacks. So we stormed like downtown, locked up intersections. We were jumping on cars, ripping our shirts off.
Nice.
I stole a knife from a restaurant, and I got COVID. It was great. It was a great evening. Yeah, totally worth it.
Yeah, you're just probably doing body shots off of one of your buddies. You know,
Yeah,
It's
that was the
like-
best when you're like, I don't know how I got COVID. It just pans me Friday night licking the floor of the bar.
I was standing in this crowd and I'm like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it was-
The worst part was like I was so drunk that apparently we came back to my buddy's apartment and he was with like one of these girls that they hang around, and apparently he had chips and he was like, she was like, oh, give me chips, and he's like, flash me for him, and she did, and I saw these breasts,
Oh, that's the best.
but I have no memory of these breasts whatsoever. Not even,
Sometimes when I
like-
puke, I shit.
That's tough. That's tough.
Like I can't reclaim that.
I'm
I
sorry.
can't get that moment back.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we might just have to end it there.
Yeah.
And,
I'm just gonna pull over. I'm not gonna keep trucking on.
So explain it so you lived outside of Tampa Bay?
Yeah, I was in a
and-
suburb.
Ooh, Tampa fact that I don't know if it's true. I'm really bad with facts on this. Isn't Tampa Bay the largest city in the U.S. by land area?
No, that's Jacksonville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, they just
You and your goddamn facts.
I was close,
that was
though.
pretty. Yeah,
Well, last week I just said that 58% of the WNBA is lesbian.
that's true.
It's 38%. But everyone,
Dyslexic.
That's surprising.
everyone believed me.
Like,
Well, actually, our name is our insurance policy, so no brains, no headache. If people are like, "Oh, that's a stupid show," it's like, well, maybe you're the stupid one for listening to a show called No Brains, No Headache and expecting something of quality.
I legitimately, like, if you give me any topic, I probably have a fact buried deep inside my mind, but it's not right.
I mean, that was. If you get that close,
Yeah.
you can
Look,
fool
It was
anybody.
a Florida city, and I got that
yeah.
correct. So Jacksonville must just be span out.
They did some bullshit where they made the whole county the whole city.
Yeah, they
That's it.
absorbed
Duval,
Yeah,
they-
Duval County.
they absorbed all the.
Why do you?
because they just want
Why-
it's a football team.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's what the Jaguars fans say when they're not attempting suicide. They're
Yeah.
like Duval.
Yeah, you kind of remind me of like an Iraqi version of Bobby Boucher's mom.
I think you could say Iraqi version of anything.
Yeah.
You'd probably be like,
The worst part is you're probably not even from Iraq.
nope. A neighbor.
But Tampa Bay, before Matt rudely interrupted with his not correct fact. So you grew up like outside of Tampa. Like
Yeah.
what's what's Florida like? Matt and I have no idea what it's like to live in a place like Florida.
Like right now, it's perfect. I guess on the weather topic.
Here we go. He's on the weather. He's learning quick.
Oh yeah, I like
Essentially, everything circles back to the weather.
anybody. It's like you could talk. There's like very few things anybody can talk about. Everybody eats. Everybody shits. Everybody goes outside. You have to talk about all those things.
But even if you ask, like, oh, what car are you driving? We're like, I got this F-150 because it gets around well in the snow, and, we have a lot of snow up here. Like, circles back to the weather so
comes
fast.
back.
Yeah.
I see the shirts where it's like, oh, it'd be great if it wasn't windy.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
It was like, I get
I
that.
hope all those people that wear those shirts die.
Okay, besides the goddamn weather.
Yeah, it's hot as fuck. I don't know what to say about Tampa. Like it's
like what I'm asking is
like,
what is it like to live in like a populated area with more than 70,000 people?
I keep wondering like what the difference is. It's just like more traffic traffic, more restaurants.
Yep.
Besides that, like there's nothing. A lot more hot chicks. You guys really need to step that up.
Well,
Like,
from
bad.
Florida to North Dakota, that's taking the peg down a couple notches.
The whole board, dude. It's bad. Like it's,
Like Matt is a North Dakota 9, but a Florida 2.
Dude, I'm fucking pretty ugly. I'm like a North Dakota.
Yeah, that's why you're North Dakota 9.
No, you can blend.
North
you can
Dakota
definitely blend.
3. If I went to Florida, they'd be like, what the fuck is that?
You just stay away from the beaches. That's where the hot people accumulate.
Oh,
is
so I
the
gotta
water.
go to Central Florida.
Central Florida is a trash hellhole.
Oh, yeah.
You would work perfectly in Central Florida.
Yeah, so one of my coworkers is from like kind of like Central Florida, and she's like, I was like, well, aren't you getting like hit by the hurricane? She's like, no, it's mostly like just swamps and meth.
Yeah.
And then you went to Central Florida University.
I went to, but that's in Orlando. And that's like our like gay city. So it's
What if
like we have a.
What if Central Florida University was just Disneyland?
Isn't it UCF, Matt? Isn't it University of Central Florida, not Central Florida University? Sorry to yell.
What's your problem?
Well, I hate myself and I make irrational decisions and take out my anger on other people. That's what's my problem, if you want to know.
Maybe it's not wrong.
No, I'm actually starting to answer that question now with people like, what's the matter with you? Or what's your problem? It's like, well, actually.
I'm an irrational dick.
But they have a big like sports base. Like you said, you were celebrating the Super Bowl for the Buccaneers. You're not even a big sports fan.
It's like if the Super Bowl's in town.
Yeah,
You
and
gotta,
that makes sense. You got to root for the
do it.
hometown team, and I appreciate that about you.
But there's definitely a sports culture, like especially. I don't know if it's a Catholic thing too, but I feel like in Catholic schools, it's everybody plays sports, like everybody, like.
Well, I feel like that's because you probably like if you're going to a Catholic school or private institution, that means you're paying tuition, not just taking your public school. You know that ultimately does not cost as much as going to a private. So I think then you have the means because like hockey, for example, that shit is expensive. Yeah. Football, football's weird. You don't have to supply your own equipment. Hockey, you do. I don't really understand that, but I get it. It's sweaty and gross, but like, yeah, you probably have the means to do more sports, travel for basketball, baseball, whatever. So that's probably to answer your question of why like the Catholic people play sports.
I mean, they were the only people I knew that actually played lacrosse. Where
that makes sense.
Like that's not. We don't have that in public schools. Like that's not a thing.
Yeah,
like
lacrosse is a very snobby sport.
Yeah, you hear that,
sure.
you're like, really? Like you guys actually do that? Like, oh,
we do not have lacrosse here. Well, it's like slowly, but like North Dakota, in case you haven't figured out, kind of behind the times a little bit. Like things don't get here in time.
It has pros and cons. Like we have the desert, and the desert there's no way that'd be legal in Florida. Like it's just lawless, just like land. You'd go down there and you just fuck around.
Like here in Bismarck Desert,
Desert,
right next to the river.
Yeah. It's like we don't have that. We don't have just like just go. Who owns it?
You can go have a fire, do drugs, party, do whatever you want.
It's just wild land. You want to go drive your dirt bike around? Go ahead, fucking.
Because we all have one of those.
Yeah, everybody has one
Dude,
of those.
some kid died like 2 months ago. On
Yeah.
Like you can do whatever you want, even die.
You can die if you want.
So
you have that option.
one time have you ever heard of a works bomb?
No.
So you take Works toilet cleaner and you take up.
What are we talking about here?
This relates to the desert.
Like, we're trying to have a conversation, and Matt's like, Tampa is the biggest city in the world.
You guys drink Tylenol? Do you guys?
All right. So I was doing a bunch of whippets the other day.
Do other people do this, or you just found
No,
this thing
no,
with
I found it
toilet
out
cleaner?
on early YouTube.
The floor is yours.
And so you put a bunch of tinfoil balls in like a 2-liter, and then you dump Works toilet cleaner in there, and then you seal it up and you let it sit, and it literally explodes, like massive. And so we were down at the desert, and we like buried one, and we like waited there for like
Forgot about it.
for like 20 minutes. And like nothing happens. We start walking back to our car, get to the car, and all of a sudden we hear this fucking just boom, and we're like, holy fuck! And we start just peel out of there, start driving away. And there's like 3 sheriffs, an ambulance, one of those hospital things, or fire trucks.
There you go.
And like they're all just humming down to the desert. It was like there must have just been like a 10-foot crater.
Yeah.
Like we just blew it
I
up.
was like, we don't know. We didn't hear anything.
Yeah. But then I looked back at like the YouTube, they just put like a little bit of tinfoil in the bottom and then fill it up, but we filled up the entire 2-liter.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so it took forever to like the reaction to hit.
Matt, you don't need to tell Eric this. He definitely knows how to make homemade
I'm definitely
bombs.
gonna do this.
Yeah,
at
it's
some point.
the family business.
You don't already know about this? I'm shocked. You ever been to Boston?
Around 2011?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
That'd be funny if you were just there and they're like, there he is.
I definitely had moments where like I'm walking away from large events and I'm like, if something happens, they're gonna get me. I know they're gonna get me. Like I'm like planning out what I'm gonna say to the police if something goes down.
You just go Facebook Live every time you leave an event. So
Yeah.
like, I can't be
Like-
this guy.
No, I'm like thinking, I'm like, all right, so I get down on the ground and I put my hands behind my head. And I'm like, should I take my shoes off? I don't know if they want like
Interlock your fingers.
It's not
Yeah,
an
interlock your fingers.
It's not an Asian restaurant. You don't need to take your shoes
And Beverly Hills Ninja, he keeps taking his shoes off before going into the hotel.
Do you guys have it like when there's a large event? Do you guys ever wonder, you're like, oh, somebody's definitely going to start shooting this up?
We don't have large events here.
I mean, you have like the state fair, right?
Never
Wiz
been.
Khalifa was there, right? Was he?
He showed up 2.5 hours late.
Lil Wayne. That was Lil Wayne.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd never
Same.
been to the state fair. Never really planned to.
Same thing, right?
I actually think, was it Wiz Khalifa? Now, this is a fact for you. I believe Wiz Khalifa was born at the Minot Air Force Base or whatever.
I've heard that. He
Minot.
We love to claim people that
Yeah.
were like born here for like 2 seconds or like
Or they like spent a summer here with their grandparents. It's like, yeah, they're from here. Macaulay Culkin, North Dakota.
yeah.
Somebody I work with says he's related to Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, it's in the New England, North Dakota area.
Yep. Eminem's mom worked in a gas station in Williston, North Dakota for like 8 months. That was legitimately a news article in North
I
Dakota.
mean, you know it.
Yeah.
It's big enough that you're like, yeah.
There's so many. There's a lot of news articles. I'm like, wow, I'm really glad that we're writing about this. But then there's also a bunch of them that are just like slow news day because
Yeah.
you're reaching here. It's like this guy's third cousin was the shooter at Mandalay Bay. It's like, what?
Claiming them.
Yeah.
It's us. We got it.
Yeah.
We got it.
Or it's just like we get a lot of DUIs in North Dakota. It's like, oh, another great fact that literally everyone already knew.
It's like a pride thing. Like everybody's like, yeah, we drink the most out of like any state in the U.S. Like shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, dude, we'd be fucking all alcoholics.
Bert Kreischer's tour bus got stuck in the snow in Bismarck one time.
What a classic.
Yeah.
North Dakota.
It was actually like
Not
fucking
too far from
300 yards from here.
Yeah. And then they put it out on their social media like, hey, we're stuck, come help. Naturally, North Dakota nice. Everybody's got lifted pickup trucks, not compensating for anything. And yeah, they were pulled out in no time, and then they just drank Busch Light on the bus. It's like, well, that's a pretty
So there's
fair
a guy
trade.
that's always here that has a cowboy hat. I don't know what his name is, but he brought a legit front end loader to get Bert Kreischer out. and he just saw it on social media. He was sitting here, and he's like, all right, I'll be there in 20 minutes. And just brings like a full-on construction equipment.
Yeah, you can like drive that just down the road.
People look at you like that's weird, but it's not like out of like, the ordinary.
It's like you drive combines down the road.
Yeah, have you been on a back highway where there's a tractor and farming equipment going down?
I was going down to the desert and I had fucking 2 combines in front of me.
To make homemade explosives?
Yeah. Now they confirm.
Well, you got to practice.
Boston Marathon's only 7 months away. So.
Can never prepare too early. You know what I mean?
Hey man, I mean they built the One World Trade Center back up, and I think kind of giving us a goal now.
Yeah, it's like it's a shiny prize.
But you won't knock this one down.
Good luck with this.
Yeah,
it's not bulletproof. It's plane proof.
yeah.
They're just like testing planes. Just like, all right, if it's lower than a G600, we're good.
Good.
Anything above that caliber, I mean, size of plane. I was like kind of in a professional setting, and someone was like, "Yeah,
Kind of.
yeah." So when we were in New York last week, we went and visited the World Trade Centers, and like everyone was like, "Oh, cool," and I was like, "There's only one of them now." No one really got
Fact
my
check
Yeah,
one.
Yeah.
Matt, fact check Cleary.
Actually,
Yeah, I love like every 6 months there's always like a video of a guy like diving into the pond at the World Trade Center that they have, like the memorial, and he's just
Fountains.
swimming around. I don't know why I call that a pond. Like fountain's not a hard word to come up with.
it's pond-esque.
Yeah,
Isn't that Ground Zero, or what is it called?
Yeah,
Ground Zero?
Yeah, Ground Zero.
Yeah, Matt, don't joke about that, dude. What the hell's your problem?
dude, that's literally every one of my jokes. We call it like Ground Zero. Oh, yeah, never mind.
Well, let's shift gears to that way. Eric, you're pretty funny, I gotta admit, man.
I appreciate it.
And as the Bismarck Mandan comedy scene, I'd say we've been going strong. I don't know, since we started, probably about 2.5 years ago. Slowly building up, but going strong now. I almost feel like a foster parent, because people come from Florida or from out of town for work or girlfriend or whatever, and then they get dumped immediately, and then they leave. And so it's just like they're here for like 2 or 3 months. It's like, oh, it was really nice to meet you. Godspeed.
First off, Pedro got deported. So.
But yeah, we've had a lot of people just like yourself who are not from around here, but they enjoy doing stand-up comedy. So, what made you say, hey, I got to go check this out and, give my hand at stand-up comedy entertainment?
I mean, when I first started, I got dumped by my girlfriend. And I was like,
Did you? I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
well,
I was not poking fun at you. But.
I mean, no, it was, so.
Did she get into black guys?
No.
he's halfway there.
I was kind of in the middle. She wasn't sure if she wanted to go all the way.
So you were like, she was like, I need to either go white or black. So I split the difference with Eric. And now I need black.
Well, she was mixed. I was mixed. So it was kind of like, let's mix it up,
Yeah.
Let's try and get 4 races involved.
But is that true? Did you actually move here for your girlfriend?
No. I mean, I started comedy down in Florida.
Oh.
I moved here to get away from.
I moved here to get no. When I came up here, I knew I was like, all right, hopefully they have. I wasn't expecting there to be comedy up here.
Then you found us.
And I was like, holy fuck. Like, I was searching and I couldn't find anything. It's just music open mics. And I was like, fuck this.
Well, that means we're doing a
closed.
terrible job of marketing.
It
So thank you.
was, yeah, it was tough.
We are pretty good about putting out, like, making the event, like, one day before.
Well, I mean, and I don't use Facebook. So I think that probably.
Oh, yeah.
that
Facebook
probably
is a
kinda
huge
hurt
tool
me.
for us.
But then I saw you guys and I was like, oh, perfect. So then I might have skipped like 1 week before I went. I was like, oh, maybe I'll go next week. And then I decided to come. And I hadn't done it in like 6 months. Like that first time I went up.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck. That's why I didn't sign up. I was like, oh, maybe I won't go. Like, I'll just go scope it out. And then next week I'll come back and it'll be good to go.
We're out.
We're out of drinks?
Yep.
Do we have one more?
I drank all of them.
Fantastic. Sorry to interrupt.
You're good. But yeah, so I was like, all right, perfect. I saw you guys went up. I was like, fuck it, let's do it. And the rest is history.
So you said that you weren't expecting it, which is fair, because I don't want to take credit for like starting comedy in Bismarck. We didn't do that, we just revived it. If anything, like obviously in the past,
Gave it
couple
a
of decades.
platform.
Yeah, in the last couple of decades, there have been open mics and kind of here and there, and obviously a lot of venues around here bring comedians in and provide that kind of entertainment.
And
for
some
the
of
community,
the
but
venues actually announce what comedians they're having.
yeah, ahead of time, unlike some others. But
Well, I saw like Laughing Sun had them. Like when I first visited, I saw the comedy shows and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's not an open mic. These are like professionals. And then I'm like, now I know these guys.
you're modest,
I was like, oh, like I know,
professional.
Oh, you got
You're a
paid-
professional
you
comedian
got
now. You
paid
got
to
paid.
do it.
that was. I told my mom. She's like, oh my god. Yeah.
Oh my
You're like, yeah,
God.
Jordan handed me $40. Told me to
Yeah.
get the fuck out of here.
I was not expecting to get paid. I thought, I thought it was like, you do good, we'll pay you. I was like, oh, so I won't get paid, but that'll be cool. I was like, but I wasn't expecting it.
We do this thing where we try to pay everyone,
Yeah.
unless your name's Trevor.
Well, I mean, on that point, yeah, you're lucky that you landed, with Matt and I, no brains, no headache. So thanks again for being here, dude. This is fun. But we did have an experience one time when we were just trying to get our feet under us, trying to get out in there, figure out what the no brains, no headache identity was. So for a while there, we were offering social media management because we were studying social media like for the podcast as is. So we were constantly educating ourselves on like, what are the trends or how do you use this or that on social media. So we offered that to other entities. And I mean, I kind of got us into a raw deal. So thanks to Matt for being a good sport, but pretty much we volunteered our time, didn't even get like a tip or anything. Like the most basic expenses were covered and nothing beyond that. And you were expected to just bend over backwards and take one up the old hoop, no Vaseline.
Oh yeah, I lost thousands of dollars.
Yeah, well, Matt
you
took off of
managing
work,
for?
and then this is a different story. We're not going to say the name, but
or
it's a
like-
country music festival in North Dakota.
Okay, so it was like businesses you were working. It wasn't
Yeah,
like
we were actually in charge of like a very large social media and a very important, like we had a pretty important job. But what I'm saying is what I'm getting at doesn't really matter, but we got gypped big time. We got punched straight in the dick, slapped in the face, and told to fuck off. And I was just like, I remember I talked to Matt afterwards, and I was like, here's our deal. Here's our policy going forward.
no more Jews.
No more Jews, one. And two, I was like, anytime anyone's going to help us do something that is a profitable venture, like I'm not going to pay you for being on the podcast because I'm not making any goddamn money off this, so I'm not going to lose. I bought you a water and you're welcome, but Matt bought you a water, excuse me. But our policy was no matter what, whoever helps us out, do what we need to do, accomplish our goals, we are going to pay everybody involved because they deserve it. Even if, you're just given a little bit of time, we're going to make sure you're covered at least. Like, hey, here's a fucking sawbuck. Like this place we worked for made thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, mostly through sponsorships because they don't actually sell tickets. But and at the end, it was like you can't even get Matt and I a fucking gift card or something.
Yeah.
Oh, they just totally fucked you. Like they,
Yeah, we got nothing, dude. We got nothing except you guys are fired. See you never.
and they fired you, and they didn't.
Yeah,
they
we waited 2 weeks to hop on a follow-up call. Matt and I, he's at work. I'm like doing my thing. We hop on this conference call. And they're like, yeah, I think we're going to part ways. I go, thanks for having me, and hang up the phone.
And then I didn't even say anything. I was like, okay, I hung up. And I'm pretty sure they kept talking. And then like Jordan like texted me. He's like, yeah, I hung up. And I was like, yeah, I'm already taking a shit.
So you Irish goodbye.
Yeah, the phone call,
Hey,
which
man.
is impressive.
Yeah, I didn't know that was an option.
But yeah, that's just kind of our policy. Anybody, I mean, obviously, if you're going up on stage, preparing jokes, adding value to the show, we're going to make sure you're covered. And I mean, that was your first one. We obviously had confidence in your ability, so that's why we asked you. So kudos to you. Tell your fucking mom that.
Yeah.
Say, these guys had confidence in me. These guys believed in me.
I actually said something to Bertie Mac, who was at open mic last night, and you were going up, and I was like, this kid's probably the funniest of all of us.
Dude, I don't think that no, these the amount of
I think if you could write a lot of jokes and like fire sale some new shit out, you would be right there.
see, I think my biggest weakness though is like the crowd work and the comfort. Like especially like you guys both seem so like you go up when you're hosting like Gideon's, the amount of like shit that you always have or like coming up with something really quick, like right after a comedian goes up.
There's usually a chick in the crowd I want to bang. So
that's the
else
only
do it?
redeeming quality about hosting is I think I'm retired from hosting because I'm just so bad at it. But like the only good thing I was at was coming up with like, oh, that was Dayton. He likes to juggle balls in his mouth.
But like that skill and the like Cole too, right? He's so relaxed when he's hosting. You can tell he's in the moment with it. He's quick.
Yeah, have you ever done edibles? They
legally no.
yeah, Quaaludes are awesome.
But like that, I guess that confidence and that quickness is something that I'd say that's my biggest weakness. But it seems like all you guys like you just have it where you just chill.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing about Bismarck comedy. As you probably, have you been to like other cities or markets and checked out their comedy shows or kind of familiar with them?
Just Orlando and Tampa. So I did open mics there.
Fair. Yeah. Bismarck, since it's so new, it's kind of our little baby. We can do it however we want. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's not the traditional sign up. We're going to give you the light at 3 and you better have your ass off at 5. I didn't do that the first time, so I'm not allowed back at certain clubs. But no, they'll let me back. I just have to pay a pretty hefty amount of money to get in.
There's a fine.
Yeah, but we can do it however we want. Because I remember one of the first times, you came to a show and I was hosting. Like, you were up front, dude, and I even remember your face. You were just like, I would go up in between and I would rattle off a couple jokes and then I'd get into the next comedian. That's not the traditional way of open mic. Open mic is the host gets up, says a couple jokes, gets the crowd warmed up, goes over a couple crown rules, and then it's bang, 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 comedian. Welcome John, welcome Matt, welcome Eric, boom. Get done with it. Because there's so many people in the amount of time. We have free reign. It's awesome.
There's not very many of us.
There's not much structure. And yeah, that for one of those first times you were up front and you were just like, how's this guy doing this? And I talked to you afterwards and, hey, nice to meet you. Thanks for coming, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, dude, I've never seen a host rattle off as many jokes as you did. And I'm like, these people are here to see us, man. I want to give them the best show possible. And so
you did more than I think a lot of the comedians who went up did. Like if you summed up all the jokes you did, you probably did 10 minutes.
It's the best. That's like when I write most of my jokes is like after I go up and I see someone else say a joke and it like triggers something. That like the new
usually
joke,
PTSD.
Yeah, I mean the new joke that I've been doing about like beer sayings.
That's a good one.
I write all of my jokes pretty much
in crayon.
Yeah.
Beer.
Yeah, he's just like holding it.
Yeah, but I need the big crayons because retard. Yeah. And
you keep eating the little ones.
Yeah. I just swallow the little ones whole. It's like they're not even fun to eat. It's like, why buy Tums when I could just have crayons and I can draw with them and eat them? But have you ever ate chalk?
I just ate some chalk. I tipped into your Tums fund.
This is the point of the episode where I just kind of turn Matt's microphone off.
And I'm just over here singing karaoke to myself. I will remember.
But yeah, it's great to have you in the comedy scene, by the way. And yeah, so like you found out we had comedy. What were your first impressions of the comedy scene? And then Matt and I always like to ask, what were your impressions of us? Just because we're idiots. So
I mean, like I'd say the biggest difference is I suppose like the crowd, like here versus most places. I mean, at some smaller clubs, right, it will just be comedians for comedians, and there won't be that many of them. But like especially here, it's mainly like you're performing for comedians, and then if you get other people, you're like, oh fuck, like what do they think about this?
Yeah,
because like you can kind of you know what they like. But in that same respect, I guess there's like a comfort that you get as well, where it's like I've been thinking about it, it's like I could just go up there and do dumb shit. Like I don't have to do like stand up exactly. I can just do whatever I want. They'll give me the time to do it. Whereas other places, it's a lot more like nobody cares about each other, or there might be a couple cliques, but there's like half the comedians don't talk to anybody or like
it's like I ain't here to make friends.
I will legitimately, outside of like one black guy, have conversation with every comedian or like go have lunch with any comedian.
Let's see, you like, especially when
it's
at Jim,
Jim, but
you walk up to everybody. Like I saw you like go up to just tables like every night. Like
that was an accident, but
It was the wrong table. He thought he saw somebody he knew.
but I think we do a really good job here of not being dicks to, because every other place that I've like gone to, like I feel like there's a little animosity of comedians want you to suck because it's like you're on the same team.
Comedians are out for themselves, but in it together. Like if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
it's true.
But like we do a really good job. We're like engaged with each other. It's like, okay, they have a show here. Hey, do you guys want to do this? Or it's like we have a show here. Hey, you guys want to do this? It's like there's really not any barriers that we're just like, guys, let's do this. Like there's not a lot of comedy in this town. So it's like if we can provide that even in the smallest way possible, great.
Yeah. And we're not innovators either. We're not reinventing the wheel. You know, Elon's not calling us after a night out.
Like,
but
you got here at like the time, like right when it became consistent, because we used to do like
once a month.
One open mic a month that was like it was like on a Thursday, but it wasn't a set Thursday. We had like announce it 2 weeks before, or it was Jimmy V's on Monday. And we did that like over the summer, and it just sucked. It was literally me, Jordan, and Cole. That was the only three that would show up pretty much. Yeah. And then football started, and they're like, a lot of people are here for football, so we're just not going to do open mic. I'm like, okie dokie then. Like,
just cancel on a minute.
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, Matt and I have been to 2 open mics in the past. Obviously now it's a lot more consistent, like you said. But in the past, we've called the head just to like not waste our time. And both times they're like, "Yeah, I mean, if you," we're like, "Do you have open mic?" They're like, "Yeah, if you show up, yeah, you can turn on the speaker." And like one time we went to a brewery, and I set up myself because I was like, "You guys doing open mic?" They're like, "Yeah, I mean, gotta get the stage ready." I'm like, I got it. Don't worry. And I hosted that. I didn't need to.
Like, hey, it's me, guys.
Yeah.
It's the open
Was that
mic.
the one with the picture just fell down?
Yeah, there was a speaker next to a wall, and this wall was featuring a lot of local artists and their paintings and what have you. And the speaker was rattling so hard that at one point in the middle of somebody's set, a painting just fell off the wall. I was like, oh, this is really a structurally sound
It's literally
place.
falling apart. The whole
Quite literally. But yeah, the Bismarck comedy scene, it's a lot different. And we're not like doing that just to like try something different. It's just that's what it calls for.
I think I like that it's small though, because it's like other places you can't keep it small. Where it's like, okay, it's small, but then it'll just grow and grow, and then it'll become a big one, and then you have all the same problems of like different cliques, and some people just don't like each other, and they're just kind of fighting about stuff. Whereas here it seems like, okay, like Bismarck is a small town, you can keep it small, and maintaining smallness and keeping it going that way, like I think you can get kind of weird going like that, but it also can make something that's you can't make that anywhere else.
But I mean, we invite everyone to do it. Like, we want so many new people to come. Like, there was like just some like middle-aged mom that did it 2 weeks ago and did super well, and she's like,
I think she got a shout out like 5 different times.
Oh yeah, everyone wanted to bang her, but just me. But I mean, like last night,
she listens to this, right?
Well, sup?
Name's Matt, 701-220.
202-6450. What?
Wait a minute.
I was just gonna say, what was I gonna say? No, I was gonna say that like, if you've noticed, like, I love how temperamental comedians are. It's like, that sucked. That was the worst. I bombed. It's like, did you bomb, or are you just refining the same jokes in front of the same people who have heard it for the last 3 weeks. Like, and I get it. And that night, the first night you came, when I kept rattling off jokes, it's like, dude, I am not doing these jokes for the other comedians. I'm doing these jokes for the people I see that haven't been there before. So 2 weeks ago, they didn't hear that joke. So it's like, oh, I'm going to whip that one out just because it's like,
the best.
I want to give them the best experience possible, even if it is an open mic, especially at shows. If you pay hard-earned American dollars to come see me on stage, I'll be damned if I fuck it up. And I have before, right here at this very location. I got way too drunk before going on stage. Oh. I felt like shit for like 2 months after that. I started going to therapy.
Yeah.
That was the final straw where it's like, no, it's not the anger issues or the unstable relationships. It's the getting wasted. But I even talked to people and they're like, it wasn't as bad as you thought. I thought it was pretty entertaining. It's like, oh, this drunk guy on stage making an ass of himself. That is kind of funny.
I thought it was pretty bad.
No, I know it was bad. I was in my body. I was the one saying the words, or at least trying to.
Yeah, I mean, I did something similar to that. I got comfortable, which was the worst thing I ever could have done. We had this gig over in Mandan, and Jordan was sick, and so he's like, hey, I'm going to go through the Culver's drive-thru. And I'm like, okay, the venue's right there. I'm just going to get out and go in, say hi to the guy. And he's like, oh, here's the beer fridge. So I just drank like 6 beers. I had 4 pounders before Jordan got through the Culver's drive-thru. And I was hosting. And like by the end of it, I was like, hey, here's Jim Black. And I like knew on stage that I was doing just so horrible, and I was like, maybe dial it back a little bit. Like I got comfortable. I was like, I can do comedy all the time. I did 20 minutes last week, and I was like, it was the worst comedy. Like you go back and look at like some of your old jokes. I have my first set
it's terrible.
that I ever wrote, and I legitimately want to go one open mic and just read through like part of the jokes. It's like I went turkey hunting. Pause for laughter. What?
Got those guns, you know?
Yeah.
I tried this one chilling that set my mouth on fire, and I had to drink a 2-liter of Mountain Dew.
Eric. So you don't like sports. What do you do for fun?
Right now, I ride a dirt bike.
Oh, you do ride it.
Yeah. That's why I keep. Yeah, it's just on the mind. Dirt bike.
Don't you live in an apartment? How do you keep
Just on the mind?
I keep it out back.
Oh, okay.
Put it around back.
Steakhouse?
Dirt back spot.
Do you need a spot to put it in the winter?
I was gonna put it in my living room.
You can put it in my garage if you want.
No, I want it. Like, if I had a garage, I'd still put it. It's just sick.
I want it in my living room.
I want people to come in and say, is that a dirt bike? So then I can reply.
If someone
yes.
comes in and sees a dirt bike in your living room and asks if it's a dirt bike, go ahead and remove them from your life.
Is that a dirt bike? Do you want to have sex right now?
Yeah.
That's how I imagine that interaction's going to go.
What are your goals with comedy? Is it just a fun thing to do, a way to like have a hobby, or do you want to like keep getting paid to do it? Do you want to be the best comedian in the world? Where are you at?
I mean, like if I could do that if I could make a living doing comedy, that'd be great. Like doing comedy, doing a podcast, something like that. I think.
And what's your definition of a living? Because I found out Matt and I have different definitions of that.
I thought about it.
His is like $18,000 annually, and I'm just a touch higher. No, I'm kidding.
Like sub poverty level.
I want to make just enough to pay my mortgage and not be able to eat food.
I don't know. Like if I could make like $80,000 a year.
That's fair.
I'd be
That's fair.
Very happy.
That's fair.
I think that.
I don't know if that was a rude question to ask. Apparently, we're not supposed to talk about finances.
I think it's kind of like,
How much money do you make before taxes?
Yeah.
How many cattle do you have?
Yeah, that was my other one. I just found out recently you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
It's essentially just asking what they make.
The whole farmer thing's still new to me. I'm still like,
can you
guys
eat?
do
It's actually
that?
a rancher. If they have livestock, they're ranchers. If they do crops, it's farmer. Just a fun fact for you.
They're all
Yeah, my uncle punched me in the face because I called him a farmer.
We're different.
Fine, I'll drink the expired Busch Light in your fridge.
Well, I just like to ask people because, like, I love our whole comedy crew. It's, you know, as Matt and I are 30 now, so we're kind of getting to that age where it's like the friends that you maybe had in high school or college or whatever, they're all just kind of like disbanding, whereas the comedy crew, it's like, well, I'm making new friends all the time. You're my friend, brother. Yeah. So you're my friend. You're my special friend.
Still on the fence. Still on the fence here.
But I just like to ask it because, like, you know, some of the comedians, they just like to the social aspect. A group of guys hang out and gals hang out, and it's something to do on Wednesdays. Whereas I think, like, myself personally, probably a little more motivated to, like, make something out of it, to make it a little more business savvy.
I think, like, because that decision has been rattling around in my head of, like, I have a job. You know,
you do.
Like, I don't.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Well, see, it's a good start.
Well, I mean, yeah, I wasn't gonna.
I love the fact about that is, like, my job. I like my job, 'cause, not really, but I like the fact that doing comedy is so much different. Mm-hmm. I like the contrast of it, that I'm like, all right, sit in an office, and then, like, after it, go out and drink 4 IPAs and poop my pants.
Yeah.
Like, it's the contrast of it is awesome.
That's your release.
It's so funny. Like, the Wednesday night, it's like, I always tell everyone, hey, don't contact me on Wednesday. Like, don't ask me to do stuff. That's my, like.
And then what do they do?
Immediately contact. My mom asked me if I wanted to help sheetrock last night.
Even if I wasn't busy, the answer is no.
I was 5 minutes before I was going to go on stage. She called me and she's like, any chance you can come over and help sheetrock? And I was like, no.
Wednesday is my day, devil woman.
I mean, but yeah, it's kind of like, I like the hobby of it.
That was close.
This is, we need like a counterweight going on.
I didn't know that, but
this
anyway.
table's kind of shaped like a pear.
Yeah. Sorry, you were saying.
But, like, yeah, you could, like, doing it as a hobby is always an option. But
everybody's doing it as a hobby.
Yeah,
That's a stupid question now that I think of it.
Like, I guess the ability to do it. You are watching the Viking. I just realized
I'm paying attention though. I'm looking at you.
I don't know.
Are you wearing a Jimmy Klein saucer 85? Dude?
Yeah, he's from North Dakota.
Jimmy Klein saucer 85, dude.
Yeah, he switched to 40 later in his career, so this is actually
that
a
means
rare one.
Absolutely nothing to Eric.
Yeah, why? Who cares?
Fun fact, Brad.
Quit fucking interrupting. What were you saying? Hobby, comedy,
yes,
hot chicks.
So, I think you hear it a lot too if you listen to comedy podcasts. Like, just in the Joe Rogan sphere is just like, oh, like, you know, go for it kind of thing of like, if you have a dream, you got to go for it. Like, just that whole American dream, you know, you want to be a rock star, go for it.
It's like a form of capitalism of make the most of this as you possibly can.
Like, I think some of it's like the delusion of like, yeah, you say that because you made it. Like, how many dudes do you know who have like are just poor as shit?
Sleeping on couches, rooming with like 5 dudes in a 1-bedroom apartment.
I'm going for it. Yeah, I'm living my dream. And like, I don't want to end up like that, dude. But
you have a job, so
I have a job, but I'm at a point in my life where
after this podcast, maybe not.
But
TBD.
Yeah, can we blur or bleep anything out?
Dude, I've said some questionable things on this podcast.
No, you're fine.
But like, I'm at a point where I could go fuck off for I think a couple years and still recover.
For sure.
Know?
You still have time.
I don't have kids. I don't have I'm not in debt. So it's like, okay, I could go and be stupid for a while. I could go, you know, gallivant and try to become a comedian, and it's not going to hurt me that much. And it's like, okay, like the thought of not taking that option, it's like, man, that would really suck to have never tried it out.
Yeah.
And then if it doesn't work out, I can always just do it on the side.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, you know, the lifetime that we have as humans, it's like once you hit 30 or 40, it's like, oh, I'm so old. It's like you have so much time to do whatever you want. Where so for one of my businesses, one of my clients called me one day, you know, we were talking shop like normal, and then he was asking about the comedy and stuff, and he's like, dude, this business will always be here, but you're young, you gotta go do it. I'm like, dude, you're my if I leave, like, you're out on the streets, like, you don't have me to offer that service to you. And he's like, dude, you just got to do it. And so I've been flirting with that idea, and I love when the the layman, you could say, is like, go to Austin, Texas, comedy, central. And it's like, oh, do you want me to go to Austin, Texas so I can sign up for open mics for like 3 months and maybe get one if I'm lucky on a random like Tuesday night at like midnight when nobody's there? Or
You can create the comedy scene.
and that's what Matt and I kind of, I
was
don't,
the
like I said, I don't
genesis.
want to take credit for it, but like,
You guys invented comedy. That's how that started.
Matt and I are the inventors of comedy. Thank you. Finally, somebody recognizes it. Holy shit! It only took 4.5 years.
I mean, there's been people that tried it in Bismarck, and it has not been.
It's not for them.
Or it's like it's been like 2 months, and they're like, oh, no one showed up to open mic. We did that for like 6 months, probably a year, where it was like, sweet, open mic, 8 people, and it's the same 8 people. Now we actually get people to come in and like enjoy open mic.
It seemed like it's, especially when I started too, like there was a table in Gideon's.
Yeah.
It was like, I know where all the comedians are. I can see them all sitting together. And then it seems like just in the time I've been here, it's grown. I've seen like, 4 new people. And I know you guys have like people who come in and like cycle in and cycle out.
Yeah. Or foster children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like or like
You're next, buddy.
But now like it almost seems like personally I'm itching like, let's have another one. Like let's do it twice a week. Can we do it twice a week? Like I'd like to go up even
Famous
more.
last words right there.
There was one time where someone had mentioned like in our group chat, they're like, we should do more open mics, like go to this other place. And then that same week we went to open mic and it was literally
That person didn't even show up.
and it was like 3 of us, and I was like, yeah, we should really get another open mic going. And then I think Brandon Loftus like commented back and was like, sorry, I'm busy being at your mom's house. And I was like,
Oh man, that's so true. But Vikes first and goal. But no, let's keep this going. This is actually really good. I'm really enjoying this conversation. Comedy. We invented it, and you guys are aware now. So thank the
I
Lord.
thought the conversation was going good until you said, this is a great conversation. I'm really having a good time. And now I'm like, yeah.
Well, I'm trying to process
is
the
going
Vikings,
well.
and I'm all out of drinks because
No.
Matt only bought so many, and you
I
know,
brought 6, and
then you drank 4.
That's enough for one person.
Yeah,
1 hour.
Matt, you once drank what was it? 8 beers in 70 minutes.
yeah,
That's pretty impressive.
we did like our I think it was like our 3-year anniversary. We did like a live show, and it was literally just how many beers I can drink.
Oh, easy touchdown, Skull Vikes, baby.
Where are they playing?
The Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, those guys are bad.
Yeah, they are actually. Good call.
See?
Good call. Comedy. We invented it. You guys are aware now.
But like career wise, I guess, thinking about it, like, yeah, Austin to me seems saturated. Like the moment it started,
There's
it
so
was like,
there's so many comedians
I-
living in cars down there that are like they just went to make it down there.
The worst is they like Hans Kim, right? Like Kill Tony. People say, oh, he started out in a van. Now everybody's like, I could go there and live in my van. It'll be fine. It'll happen for me. You know?
It's I could play the lottery too.
Yeah. He won. I could win.
Yeah.
But you don't win if you don't play.
But like I know a lot of like the comedians I follow too, like they've gotten on Kill Tony one time. And it's like it's like they have a lot of other things like in the cities that they're from, but they'll travel every week like 2 hours. They've gotten on one time, did really well, but then it's like what's
Then they used up all their good jokes.
Yeah.
They're done.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You gotta think about that.
I did not think about, the use up. I've seen people, they do well, and then there's no follow. It's just like, joke book, see ya.
I think anybody, if they sat down and tried really hard, could probably write a really solid 5 minutes. But I think the catch is, can you do that consistently every week? Come up with a good 5 minutes.
Well,
Because you do that every week, you're gonna have an hour before you know it.
But it's like, and you're now, like, especially with Kill Tony, it's not, does the crowd decide? Like, the crowd can like you, but you don't get anything from that except maybe publicity. It's, does Tony like you?
There is so much more beyond Kill Tony that needs to take place for your career to light off like a rocket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I agree with you. Like, it's so saturated in Austin, and I can understand the argument of, oh, but the competition, it makes you better. It's like, I understand that. I get it. You know, some people, they probably come to Bismarck for the first time, and they're like, who the hell gave these guys a microphone? Because that is just that is pathetic. That's what that is. But yeah, it's just like so many things need to happen. But yeah, I think it's something where it's like, hey, man, if you want to give it a rip, let her rip, let her buck.
Let her buck.
You should.
It's going to get a little Western, but
yeah,
ride it out.
And I've been talking to like other comedians that Matt and I have met. That's the beauty of the podcast, is we have naturally met so many people. You know, you message somebody on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and you're like, hey, I'm a really big fan of your stuff. Do you want to hop on a phone call for 45 minutes? Or like, that's kind of weird. No, thank you. But if you're like, do you want to come on my podcast for 45 minutes? They're like, hell yeah. Send me the link. So Matt and I have met a lot over the years, and I'm trying to figure it out, and I've hopped on a few phone calls with guys, and like what I'm hearing and the way I'm kind of approaching it, it's like the day of and the age of the broke comedian who's living in a van trying to make it. That age is over with, if you think about it. There's no reason that you can't have like an income from like the daytime, because comedy, when does it take place? When's the last time you were at a morning comedy show?
Never.
I actually had one time, but
did that go well?
No, it was just featuring a guy at this like guest speaker event, and it was Brando. I had him do it, but no, comedy takes place evenings and weekends. So there's really no reason, besides maybe the traveling aspect, but still, it's 2024 technology, all the opportunities out there. I don't think there's any reason that you have to be the broke comedian. I'm going to every single mic.
Not with Instagram and like social media now, because you can post a clip of your comedy that's in like a shithole, and if it's like well kind of like put together even a little bit, and it goes moderately viral, that's how like I find a lot of comedians that have come on this podcast, and they've grown so much of like, I'll usually catch it early.
Yeah.
And then it's like there's one comedian, like Sarah Huntington. She had maybe like less than 10,000 followers when I like saw a clip of her, and then she came on the podcast, and I think now she's over like 250,000.
Yeah, she's moved to New York full time for comedy since, all because of us.
Yeah.
You come on No Brains No Headache, look what happens.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
I mean, it's springboarded some careers.
You invented comedy, invent their career.
Here's also the agreement for 10% of your wealth for the rest of your life.
You sign that by walking in the door.
The warranty's good till the end of the driveway.
I mean, and it seems like you can make something that seems professional so easy. Like, I saw your guys' clips, and I'm like, this looks like, and you know,
and these guys are idiots.
Yeah,
it looks good, but man, are they stupid.
These retards can make something this good. Fuck
you.
Yeah.
What?
Or like I see like Jim Telly, another comedian. He's always just posting stuff, and it always looks.
It's a fucking 20,000 followers.
Yeah.
It's not like, it's hard to gain that following, but it's really not. If you think about it, like
you put time and effort.
Yeah, or it's like if you have one clip.
Well, you can always just buy your followers too. You know, send $50 over to South Korea, and next thing you know,
I don't see why not do that. I don't know why.
It's just like Eric overnight. Yeah. Like, oh, I wonder what he did.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think like the comedian lifestyle, I would think there's a certain point where if you're getting so many shows a week, you can't work a job because you're working so late.
Yeah, but at that point, you probably accomplished your goal where you can sustain your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because right now, your lifestyle needs to be, hey, I still got to pay my bills, take care of my things. That's where your job comes in. But eventually, you work on it, you get bigger. Okay, now I can quit my job because I have consistent shows. And I think that's ultimately, you know, hopefully accomplishing your goal. Like, hey, I want to do this for a living. And then and the people I've talked to and kind of consulted with and just got their feedback, it's just like anything. You need to make a plan. Give yourself some time. Is this going to be a 1-year thing? Is it going to be a 2-year? I would suggest going a little longer than that. But you do you. It's your life.
Well, they say you're not good until you've done it for 10 years. I'm like,
yeah.
Fuck, dude.
Or you haven't done comedy until you quit at least once. It's like, fuck that.
But he has a 5-year plan. What? To not die?
Yeah, but that's what it is. It's like, hey, are you if you want to go to the market or go to a market, Austin, Nashville, Phoenix, Denver, wherever it is, you say, hey, I'm going to give myself 3 years. And if I'm not doing X amount, or if I'm not happy with it after 3, then maybe I'm just going to hang up the microphone and go to the local open mic every once in a while. But that's not what it's all about. I mean, you should still just have the passion in you to make people laugh. Ultimately, that's what I love about it, is having the ability to stand in front of a group of people and make them all laugh.
And most
That's
people
powerful.
you talk to, and if you say you do stand-up comedy, they're like, oh, that's so scary. And it's like, you literally fly fighter jets.
You performed brain surgery.
Yeah.
Like, how is that not scary?
I don't know about you guys, but like I like public speaking too. So it was like I was like, okay, I'm built to do this, or some wire is crossed where it's like, all right, I at least want to get up here and do this.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I'm still terrified going up. Like especially before that show, I was sitting in
think
my
you should
car
be.
and I was like, I'm gonna bomb. Just accept it. Just it's gonna happen, and you go home and it's over.
Yep.
You're fine after.
Go home,
Just go
draw
home.
a nice bath, throw a toaster in it.
I do remember that after you got off stage, because for context for our listeners, our loyal listeners, thank you guys for checking out the show. But Eric joined us at Laughing Sun last week for his first ever debut for a comedy show in front of a paid crowd. So congrats to him, and thanks for helping us out with that, making us look good. That's huge. But I remember afterwards you sat down and we were all kind of hanging out together, and Matt was up, right? You were after Eric? Yeah. Matt was up, and I look at you and I'm like, so how was that? And you're like, that was a rush. And I'm like, oh man, I wish I could harness that energy in a bottle. Because honestly, I mean, like you said, I'm comfortable on stage. And Matt said, don't get too comfortable. I'm teetering the line right now. Does this guy have a pulse on stage right now? Like, is he even saying words? Or is he just like thinking and assuming people can read his thoughts?
I always think that I suck because there's always room for improvement. I'm also like the one comedian that's like doesn't like comedy.
I still don't get that. I don't.
It's just
I have to be here. Parole.
Yeah, it's like I like doing
Did you just say
it.
parole?
Yeah, my parole officer said I had to come.
Yeah, no, that's why I volunteered at the pumpkin patch.
Community service.
Yeah, you get your 4th DUI and they get pretty upset.
We sentence you to listening to an open mic
Yeah.
the whole way through.
Touchdown Rams.
Who scored?
Oh, Kyron Williams.
Oh,
That's
you went
okay
to Notre
with me.
Dame.
That's okay with me. We got ourselves a shootout. Sorry. I
Yeah,
didn't mean to-
do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, Aaron, do you have any final thoughts before we execute you in the bathroom?
I mean, I got a lot. I mean, I
You can come back on some time and we'll go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like the Bismarck comedy scene is the perfect like not beginner comedy, but it's just like
It's a good starting point.
it's a good starting point. The ease of access is like, like you just get so much. It's like, the schools brag about small class sizes because the teacher can give you attention. It's like, okay, I have a small class size
Yeah,
here.
we are the community college of comedy.
Yeah, but we can get,
And we'll give you a tug job if you want it.
but I can get the attention. I can bang the teacher and nobody will say anything. Like,
It's a great starting spot because no one really expects much of anyone.
Especially when you come on a podcast called No Brains, No Headache. First podcast appearance?
no, I had a podcast. I haven't done
As
it
guest, though.
As a guest, yeah, my first guest spot on a podcast.
What was your podcast called?
Tea Time with Eric Redacted.
Oh.
Yes. But yeah, never heard.
Matt and I had a podcast in college one summer, and I was back from school called Blurred Vision Sports Talk. It was the lowest production quality ever. We had a microphone like sitting like in the middle of us, and we would just get wasted drunk and talk about sports.
Like Kyrie Irving was
Yeah.
Kyrie.
I think the flat Earth thing came out actually then.
Dude,
so-
there was a lot of things where it'd just be like, I had a bunch of buzz balls before this.
or you would just hear the person clearly leave the room to like go like puke in the bathroom.
And the mic, it was like my musician friend that shout out Joel, he's been on the pod, that he like just like, here's an old mic, and we're like, great, this will work perfect. And we just put it in an airport hangar and just screamed at each other.
Yeah, so this is actually our second podcast. We're pretty seasoned, grizzled vets.
You're not a podcaster until you've quit podcasting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
This is my second podcast. Show me some respect.
dude. So the Menendez brothers might get out of prison, and they're gonna start a podcast. I guarantee it. Write this down. They're gonna start a podcast. The Menendez brothers, if they get out of prison,
You don't have to write it down.
the Menendez brothers are gonna start a podcast when they get out of prison, and it's gonna do insane numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if Hawk Tua,
Yeah,
she's got a podcast like anybody.
Yeah, which one of you two wants to go to prison, and then when you get out, we can finally go viral with this?
I've said this a lot on this podcast. Prison sounds pretty nice to me. You get all your meals, you get a place to sleep, you get structure.
Your boyfriend bangs you every night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my boy Tim just plugs me in a good queen like quality. It's
No, Malcolm X said prison is better than college.
That's debatable.
didn't he get shot?
I mean, yeah. I don't know.
I don't remember snorting drugs off of chicks' tits in prison, but you know what I mean?
You can snort them off tits though.
What does he say in The Longest Yard? What about the romance of a good-looking woman?
He's like, you're gonna have to lower your standard on good looking and woman.
It's just Tracy Morgan.
Did you take a shit in my toilet? No, that's the gift I left in
Brucey.
All right.
I think that's a good spot to end. Eric, thank you so much for joining us here at Stadium.
Thank you guys for having me. I mean, so glad to be a guest, and thank you guys for having me on your show. That was an amazing experience. You know, I'm glad you guys are, making Bismarck comedy happy.
Yeah, and we invented it.
So, yeah, thank you for inventing comedy.
You're welcome.
Good move. Good,
that was a pretty solid move on your part.
Yeah, it's just weird. If you just get up on stage, we're the first one to do that, and then we're like, well, we can incorporate a microphone, and then they can hear you better.
And then we'll say witty sayings and hopes people understand where you're going with that, which is a huge
It's like I'm listening to Einstein. Like, wow.
Holy shit, we reinvented the wheel. Elon Musk is calling.
All right, but if you want to follow the podcast, you can just search No Brains, No Headache on any social media platform. That's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. You can leave us a review on Apple iTunes. I'm going to probably make Eric do it after this. And then if you want to, Spotify, you can leave us a 5-star rating or a 1-star rating. We got a couple of those now, so that's great.
Is there anything you wanted to plug, Eric, at all, or socials? Or
Yeah, Tea Time on Spotify and wherever else you get your podcasts, except for Apple Podcasts.
Now, is that TEE time or just?
No, it's tea, just regular.
The letter
just
T time.
No, tea like tea. Like the beverage.
TEA.
TEA.
Oh, like spilling tea.
Yeah, like it's tea time. Ooh, tea time.
Oh, I was thinking golf. I went straight golf.
No sports. No sports on this podcast. That's a promise.
Well, Matt's wearing an LA Clippers basketball, Clipper Nation.
Okay, free's free. If you get it at a garage sale and it's on the free table, I'm going to wear it.
That was episode 223. Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure you check out YouTube because that is the best way to support our work. As always, if you're in the Bismarck Mandan area, every Wednesday, come check out Open Mic. Matt and I will be in Minot, North Dakota, Friday, November 15th at the Drop Zone. So come check that out if you're in the area. Other than that, Matt and I don't have any other shows until January 25th. That's a Saturday at the Bell Mayhews Auditorium. It's going to be our biggest show yet, so we need to sell seats. I actually need to get that ticket link live, so thank you for reminding me, Jordan. Episode 223. Thank you guys for listening. Up next, episode 224. Stay fresh, cheese bags.
You're watching Channel 4 News with 5-time Emmy Award-winning anchor Ron Burgundy and Tits McGee.
Good evening, San Diego. I'm Veronica Corningstone.